It's August 2007, and summer vacation is winding down. The anxiety of starting high school is starting to hum in the back of me and my friends' minds. And suddenly we see this trailer. Three awkward teens drinking booze, doing donuts in police cars, and punching boobs. And we get hyped. We are so excited because this movie feels like a prophecy for the lives we are about to start. When we walk into the theater, we are timid, scared boys. But when we walk out, we are tweaking. We are peak annoying teenagers, quoting the movie that we just saw like it was an inside joke that we invented. Because every dick joke gave us life, every cuss word gave us energy. We felt unstoppable. Now, looking back almost 20 years later, I think the movie did make us unstoppable. Because underneath all of the debauchery and cock drawings, the movie taught us a truth about the world. That to be a teenager, you didn't have to be polite, proper, and perfect. Seth, Evan, and Fogel weren't any of those things, and yet they were the best. They were flawed, chaotic, vulnerable, and insecure. And for 2 hours, we watched ourselves be represented in the purest way. And we learned that to be good, no, to be great, we had to be Superbad. After rewatching this movie as an adult, I can't help but to think about Gen Z and Gen Alpha boys, because Hollywood doesn't make movies like these anymore. And so boys growing up don't have their own version of Superbad to watch. Instead, they grow up watching these guys.
Oh, yes! I told you! I fucking told you!
You've been given this ridiculous triple miracle.
It's impossible to exist.
I keep thinking about this clip from a few years back of prominent Manosphere influencer Sneeko meeting a bunch of boys, his fans, at a baseball game.
Fuck the woman! Fuck the woman!
What?
All gangsters die!
Yeah, merch! Preach! What have I done?
Sneeko literally says, "What have I done?" when he sees his fans parroting his misogynistic, homophobic, and transphobic rhetoric. And that's the thing. Guys like Sneeko and Andrew Tate have become mainstream for boys. In 2007, Superbad was also mainstream. My friends and I started high school secretly hoping to don a nickname like McLovin, or to have a girl throw themselves at us like Becca did to Evan. We hoped to have an adventure like Seth, Evan, and Fogel's because this movie affected us. Like how Sneeko, Andrew Tate, and so many Manosphere influencers affect the boys who watch them. But the effect that Superbad had on me seems to be directly opposite to how the Manosphere now affects young men. Superbad made us laugh at the futility of our own boyhood desperation. But the Manosphere, through a constant barrage of clips, streams, and content, actually heightens the lonely, insecure desperation of teenage boys. Superbad is a fiction that attempts to reach the truth about what it's like being a teenage boy, while the Manosphere streamers are actually performing a fantasy of manhood and selling it as real life. What both Superbad and the Manosphere understand so well is the fantasies that we have as boys and men. Both have a deep grasp of our boy logic. Superbad explores through dick jokes how ridiculous some of the stuff we believe truly is, while the Manosphere enables and perpetuates these boyish fantasies to make their viewers vulnerable. In the movie, Seth, Evan, and Fogel go and try to buy alcohol solely because they think that it'll get them laid.
She wants to fuck me. She wants my dick.
It is this simple boy logic, right? Booze equals girls. And as an adult, we know that life isn't as simple as that. And when they get to the party, this fantasy they've concocted is shattered because it doesn't take into consideration what the girls want, how the girls feel, or even in Evan's case, what he wants. They can't conceive of the notion that Jules and Becca actually like them, that they were going to get laid regardless of whether or not they succeeded in getting Goldschlager. We get these ideas as boys and men because that's what masculinity teaches us. The Manosphere loves to perpetuate, to indulge us in these fantasies. Men like Andrew Tate and Dan Bilzerian perform wealth and success. They rent out mansions, do photo shoots and private jets, surround themselves with beautiful women who they pay in order to look like a Playboy bachelor. And time after time, we find out that they can't afford much of the life that they pretend to have, that the image that we see is only a fantasy. But the thing is, they need boys to believe in the fantasy, because by engaging in the fantasy, their viewers become less and less connected with reality, which makes them easier to exploit. Because it was actually the booze that got in the way of Seth and Evan's quest for pussy. Seth and Becca both got way too drunk. Men like Andrew Tate try to convince you that this fantasy is true, that they're showing you this real world. As Tate likes to put it, he's helping you take the red pill.
When I say the Matrix, I think there are certain agendas which are being pushed.
He's unveiling the Matrix, and this fantasy blinds boys to the reality that being red-pilled is actually unattractive to women. That it was this false reality that the Manosphere created that was the ultimate cock block. The goal for Seth, Evan, and Fogel was simple. They wanted to get their dicks wet. That's what it's all about. What Superbad does so well is actually show what it's like, how desperate we felt back then, how desperate some of us still feel. The movie shows the importance of sex in the formation of male identity. Seth and Evan feel like they need to get laid before they can go off to college, that life can't start until peen enters vag. Sex is everything.
By the time college rolls around, I'll be like the Iron Chef at pounding vaj.
Superbad is willing to look at the whole messy, almost pathetic truth that sex is important to us. Seth, Evan, and Fogel find kinship in their desperation. The movie brings us close to that place, the place of uncontrollable, down bad horniness that all men understand. But our horniness leaves us vulnerable. It compromises our decision-making capabilities. And the Manosphere knows that.
The woman has the power the whole way through the dating, right? Until you sleep with her, she has the power because she's in charge, because she's the prize, you want her.
The Manosphere loves to say that women control men through sex, but actually, they are the ones manipulating their male audiences with sex. Tate treats sex with distance.
Sex in and of itself is boring. Any man who sits and says that sex is great or sex is fun just clearly hasn't had enough.
To be desperately fiending makes you a simp. You are weak if you're like Seth and Evan, but unlike you, the Manosphere influencers aren't. They have control over their urges. They are better than you. But men like Dan Bilzerian, HS Tiki Taki, Clavicular still need sex for their branding. They surround themselves with women to make you think that they know what they're talking about, when in reality, many of the women are being paid to be there. Through these images of extreme sexual prowess, they make their viewers feel small. You can't even get one girl. How is Bilzerian getting 20? These influencers are using sex to create hierarchy between them and you. Superbad, on the other hand, is not. Seth, Evan, and Fogel are at the same place. There is no hierarchy or gap between them. These boys are bonded together through the struggle. They are on parallel paths, working together to help their fellow man get closer to the girl. In so many descriptions of Superbad, people call the movie a buddy film, because in the end, the movie is about friendship. Even though the primary adventure is about getting booze for a party, the true tension of the movie is the friction between best friends Evan and Seth. Because they're about to go to college, and Evan got into Dartmouth, an Ivy League school, and Seth didn't. Evan is worried about upsetting Seth, and Seth is scared of getting left behind. And in that classic dude way, instead of just saying what they're feeling, that they're scared and they might miss each other, Seth gets mad at Evan and lashes out. So then what advice would the Manosphere give Evan in this situation?
If you're not feeling it, find new friends.
These people are not your fucking friends.
You can hang around with weasels and losers that are trying to pull you down. Go away from that person. They're not helpful to you.
The reality is the people you hold close to you are your biggest weakness because they're the only ones who have the ability to betray you.
I mean, even Evan feels that way. He says, I've wasted the last 3 years of my life sitting around talking bullshit with you. The Manosphere is always telling every guy to dump his bro. The Manosphere speaks to that place of boyish anger and hurt. Goggins and Peterson never teach you how to build good, long-lasting friendships. Instead, the Manosphere always immediately jumps to cutting ties. Because fuck Seth for being jealous, and fuck Evan for getting into Dartmouth. He betrayed you. And so the best thing to do is to move on. Except Seth doesn't. Seth carries a passed out Evan out of the house. The house is dangerous, and when Evan can't protect himself, Seth is there for his bro. Because the relationship means more than just one fight. The Manosphere would call Seth a sucker because he saves Evan with no payoff. But that's what actual friendship is. It isn't a business deal. It isn't a shitty collaboration stream where the worst of the Manosphere get together and pretend to be friends. Seth and Evan love each other, and that's sappy but deeply powerful. The Manosphere doesn't want you to have friends. Because if you had a friend like Seth, they would tell you that Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate are a bunch of fucking weirdos. Alright, let's talk about Fogel. Fogel is the third wheel in Seth and Evan's bromance. The audience follows the story of Seth and Evan, but Seth and Evan must follow Fogel, because there's only one fake ID. Fogel must go into that liquor store alone, and as he walks through the door, he must transform into a man. The scene in the liquor store might be really funny, but in reality, the loneliness of growing up is genuinely fucking terrifying. No boy or man will admit that he is scared of not knowing what to do, of maybe not being man enough. This fear drives young men to find answers. Viewers find the Manosphere because they're looking for advice. Advice on how to make money, how to get girls, how to achieve the seemingly impossible standard of masculinity that the world tells all of us to strive for. Young men are looking for mentorship, but instead they get the Manosphere. Fake men cosplaying as mentors. But the thing about cosplay is the sword is made of foam, and the armor can't stop bullets. Enter Officer Slater and Officer Michaels, the cops. They are the comedic relief, but they're also true mentors. They meet Fogel during this pivotal moment of growth. Fogel is alone, scared, and uncertain, and they meet him in this lost place. While the Manosphere takes up hours upon hours talking about the wisdom that they have, the cops say nothing. Slater and Michaels have insight. They know that Fogel is underage, that he shouldn't be buying alcohol, but they don't blow up his shit. They help him, instead, to experience manhood with training wheels. They take him out for a night on the town to have controlled chaos. And this entire time, Fogel is still safe. The Manosphere is not interested in the safety of their viewers. They are pretending to be mentors just so that they can sell. Whether it is a course or a book, crypto, or whatever, there's always a sales pitch at the end of the free advice. And it works on so many of us because we want guidance. Because being a man is hard, being a man is scary, and we want someone to give us the answers, tell us what to do. And we hope to find that perfect mentor, that coach, teacher, or even a dad that we see in the movies. We are Fogel, looking for our Slater and Michaels, hoping for a guide to teach us how to be a man. So, who's the bad guy? Obviously, it's capitalism. Capitalism is why the Manosphere exploits young men. Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, David Goggins, and Sneeko all use different versions of the same playbook. Hidden within their advice and wisdom is a quiet force slowly isolating young men from the women that they want, the friends that they have, and society as a whole. Isolating these young men is so profitable, and capitalism is why so many young men feel so disenfranchised and helpless in the first place. And capitalism is why movies like Superbad aren't made anymore. And at the end of this, I remember why I wanted to make this video in the first place. It's because Superbad is just so funny. It is still so funny. It's nonstop yelling and dick jokes and guys calling each other gay and two cops talking about how everything is covered in semen. It is so good. And at its base, this movie is just about a bunch of losers and nerds. And that's why it's the antidote to the manosphere. Because so much of being a boy, a man, a dude is about needing to be perfect. This impossible ask presses down on every single one of us silently. We can all feel it. The manosphere is out here picking off every boy who's trying to make their bodies, bank accounts, sex lives, emotions, and masculinity bulletproof. In a world that tells us to be perfect, manly men, this movie shows us that we don't need to be. It's okay that we feel left behind or hurt by the girl or not enough. Our desperation is not a moral flaw, but a part of the journey. For 2 whole hours, this movie offered a truth about our existence as men, a truth that does not push us deeper into the darkness. Instead, it just makes us laugh. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Aaron Pang, and please like and subscribe.